Tonight on Evening, it's the Northwest's first Korean rice wine. Meet the family brewing it in Woodinville.
Hey everybody, I'm Chef Makini, and today we are going to make a plant-based take on a classic sandwich.
And the Northwest tribe taking care of buffalo.
This is one of their wallows.
To take care of themselves.
Welcome to the show from aboard the Sea Frolic on Seattle's South Lake Union. I'm St. Brian, and it is a sunny day. I'm going to be squinting throughout the entire show unless I wear these. We are here because sometimes you just want to spend the day out on the water with some of your best friends. We've got out-of-town friends, a charcuterie plate, something to drink, and plenty of sunshine. A perfect excuse for an afternoon frolic aboard the Sea Frolic.
It's a fun boat. It's kind of different, it's eye-catching, and it's fun.
And it's just one of 11 boats offered by Trevor McLaughlin's Seattle Charters. Other options include the 40-foot luxury yacht Splendido and the colorful 45-foot sailing vessel Beanie. Trevor says while those boats max out at 6 passengers, he's discovered a demand for slightly larger groups.
8, 10, 12, 14, and even up to 16. So this is that sweet spot where you're not getting into a really big sort of ferry boat, big tour boat kind of experience.
We've got a tame group of passengers today, but it can really run the gamut.
We're largely doing, groups for graduations, bachelor parties, a lot of corporate events. People have a small sales team or lawyers groups. We end up taking extended families in from out of town for reunions, all that sort of stuff.
Seattle Charters is also giving rides to campers wanting to spend a night out on Blake Island.
There's a great campground there. It's super remote, trails. Bring your dog, whatever you need. We're happy to do it.
Joining friends out on the water is one of the most rewarding aspects of living in Seattle. Seattle Charters is happy to help you get out there.
I really encourage anybody to figure out a way to get on the water and just really enjoy what all this area has to offer.
To charter the Sea Frolic with as many as 16 passengers will cost you $475 an hour with a 2-hour minimum. We've got all the contact information you need on our website, king5evening.com. And now to something else making waves across the Northwest. It's a Korean rice wine, now brewing in Woodinville. In a region known for fine wine and craft beer, a brother and sister from Bellevue have added something ancient to the mix.
This is Rainbrew. We are a traditional Korean rice wine brewery / winery. Traditionally, this beverage was, every family had their own recipe. It was truly a home brewing kind of beverage.
Known as makgeolli, this Korean rice wine has been around for centuries. Now these siblings want folks from the Pacific Northwest to give it a try.
What we focus on here is traditional brewing techniques and traditional recipes. So we're trying to really provide, authentic, fresh Korean rice wine.
Unlike Japanese sake, Korean makgeolli has a very distinct taste.
Sake, they really try to go for a very clean flavor profile. Our stuff is a little bit more funky because it is a natural ferment.
The recipe is pretty simple. Just rice, water, and nuruk, a fermentation starter packed with natural wild yeast and enzymes.
We get the rice from California. The water is just Woodinville water, and then the nuruk, which is our fermentation starter, we get from Korea.
Unlike mass-produced versions, Rainbrew's makgeolli is unpasteurized, meaning every sip brings a tangy, slightly effervescent flavor, just like you'd find in the countryside breweries of Korea.
Leaving it unpasteurized really lets you experience the full spectrum of the flavor that you can get from it.
And those flavors can be tried at Rainbrew's tasting room.
Here, you can come and get flights, which is the most popular thing that people order, just because you can kind of experience a range of different things, and most people have never had this beverage before. Our makgeolli on the lowest end is a 7 to 10 day ferment. They're surprised at how pure and strong of notes and flavors, some of fruit, some more savory flavors that we're just getting from rice and water and a wheat cake.
Ancient flavors, local passion. This brother-sister team hopes to keep this old tradition alive, one pour at a time.
For us to be able to be a family and kind of try to start that here in the States is really meaningful to us.
Rainbrew Tasting Room in Woodinville is open Friday, Saturdays, and Sunday. They're soon going to be offering up courses as well as tours of the facility. All right, now we are going to make a beeline for the trees. Jose is going to take us on an aerial adventure course that offers the ultimate summer outdoor challenge.
Are you looking for a fun activity? One where you can enjoy the outdoors? Something that makes you feel like you are flying through the woods? Well, I got you. That's exactly why I'm checking out Flying Rave Adventure course.
A full course up here in the trees. It ranges anywhere from 20 feet off the ground to about 35, 40 feet.
What's first here? What I need to do?
Each tour is a 3-hour booking. That includes gearing you up, go over the shoulder with that, giving you the safety spiel.
There's stuff like tree branches, rocks, stuff that you can trip and fall over.
Taking you through our ground school and getting you oriented with the course.
It looks crazy already.
Once people get through that, they'll have about 2 hours or so to play up on course. We have things for all skill levels up here, which is really nice.
So we're gonna go with the green.
We've got an easy course. It starts off about 15 to 20 feet. And once you get comfortable with that, there are increasing difficulty levels.
And if you get a little nervous with heights, don't worry.
We've got really good staff up here. They're really good about talking people through things, getting them over those fears.
The best advice I got in this adventure was...
Hey, Jose, don't look down. Don't look down. Just pretend you're on the ground, you'll be fine.
The guides are really good about showing you what to do and how to be safe. You definitely have to get used to the height, but once you're in the groove, it's super fun. I really enjoyed the Tyrolean traverses.
We're pushing 23, 24 obstacles out here on course. Things that twist, things that'll slide back and forth. It'll really test your strength, I think, with the hard course. Good way to push yourself.
Pushing yourself, but in a fun and safe way.
And we're in.
And remember, if this adventure is not for you, there's many fun summer activities that you can still do at Crystal Mountain.
All right, thank you, Jose. Good to see you come back in one piece. The Flying Raven Adventure Course is currently open Friday through Sunday, but starting next month, they'll be open Wednesday through Sunday. Tickets start at $45.
You can be vegan and enjoy a delicious BLT. McKinney Howe has your recipe. And how a Northwest rock legend saved this bookstore.
Wow!
Local stories make a difference.
I want to check that out.
With the power to enrich lives, strengthen communities, and make us smile. Evening is made possible by Primera Blue Cross. Primera Blue Cross, always in your corner.
If you enjoy stepping inside the hidden paradises of private gardens, get on Vashon Island Sunday. As part of the Garden Conservancy's Open Days program, guests will be able to see 3 unique gardens. There's the 2.5 acres of tranquility provided by Carhart Garden, the 6-acre Frog Song Gardens, which has appeared in Sunset Magazine, and the meticulously crafted Halstead Robinson Garden. Tickets are $10 and available for purchase through gardenconservancy.org. Welcome back to the show aboard the Sea Frolic in Seattle's South Lake Union. A lot of people out there do love their bacon, but our plant-based chef McKinney Howell says she has a BLT recipe that is so good she promises you won't miss the meat. She joins us from McKinney's Kitchen.
Today I am going to show you something from my new cookbook, Simple Goodness. It is a tofu bacon BLT sandwich. So we're going to take out the B and we're going to put in the T, and you're never going to miss the B. Okay, so we're going to start by pan frying some of my smoked tofu that you can find in local grocery stores. We're going to slice it really thin, just like you would slice up some bacon. I'm going to do my best to really slice this thin. I'm here in Georgetown at my new tofu factory, where we make our tofu from the bean. Oh, hear that sizzle. Smoked tofu, has a hickory smoked flavor to it. This will make your vegetarian dreams come true. Anything that you can use bacon in, you can use this tofu in. It's called Baba's Smoked Tofu. It's a tribute to my father. He passed recently, and I wanted to keep his name alive. So we made this tofu. This is vegan aioli. I'm gonna put a little bit of fresh garlic in it. Well, it's about enough. It's fresh, so it's strong. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of lemon in it. Now, the tofu is really the star of this show, so you don't necessarily need your aioli to be super strong. And then you can put whatever fresh herb is hanging out in your refrigerator. What's hanging out in my refrigerator is cilantro, so that's what we're gonna use. I don't want a ton of stems, but I do want some stems for flavor. That looks like that's about enough. Oh, there's cilantro everywhere. A little salt, or a lot. All right, our toast is ready. I'm gonna make this real simple. This is not gonna be a big deal. Just a little bit of aioli on the top and bottom. And our tofu. I got a couple of my pieces nice and crispy. I like tomato on my BLT, so I'm gonna use 2 pieces of tomato, a nice piece of lettuce, and that's it. There we go. I need a plate. Okay. That is a beauty. My mom used to make these all the time. Mine's a little more fancy than hers, but I think she'd still adore it.
All right, thank you, Chef. That looks so good. I think I'm willing to try it. You can find McKinney's BLT tofu recipe on our website. You know, the news is full of businesses permanently closing, and things were looking really dire for a Snohomish County bookstore until, that is, a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame offered to help.
It's one of the greatest hard rock riffs of the 70s. So why is Heart guitarist Roger Fisher playing it in a Sultan bookstore? To keep a dream alive. Jim Tinney's dream.
My dream was always to build the kind of place that I didn't have growing up.
A place full of books.
Books have been my solace and inspiration and entertainment for my entire life. I'm an inveterate reader. I read constantly.
After a career in high tech, Jim bought a turn-of-the-century building in 2016. A classic rock fan, he dubbed it Kiss the Sky Books after a Jimi Hendrix lyric, and began renovations.
Did a bunch of structural work on this building, tons of structural work. It was falling into the street.
People would often stop by to see what was going on. One day, it was Roger Fisher, who kind of became a regular.
After a while, I said, Jim, you know, if you build a stage over there in that corner, I'll come out here and see if I can generate some business for you.
Just when everything was looking up for Jim, an old illness started acting up. Complications from a bone marrow transplant.
They found a treatment that would probably work for me, but it was very, very expensive. It was $25,000 or $30,000 a month.
The treatment draining resources even as Jim continued to work on the books and the building.
He's taking these really hardcore meds for his cancer, and he's just working. He's got this vision, and he's going to make it happen. And my God, was I ever inspired.
The vision always involved creating community. On this Saturday, the community responded.
We've got all these great musicians performing tonight for free. Nobody asked for money or anything.
This is life, yeah. And this is what we can do.
Performing on this night, open mic veterans and touring musicians. The founder of a drum school and session players. But the evening couldn't possibly end without that song. Jim says at times it seemed unreal.
I can't even believe it, you know, that a guy who is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is so supportive of what I'm doing here with a little bookstore.
But Roger says this is more than a bookstore.
It's like a green patch in the desert. And the more we hold on to it, the more life we attract.
And that's how a bookstore in Sultan became the liveliest spot on a Saturday night.
Roger and friends raised nearly $3,000 that night for Kiss the Sky Books. They have open mic nights on Wednesday, and if you're just driving on Highway 2 and you need to take a break, it's a great place to get a cup of coffee, maybe pick up something to read. They're open 7 days a week.
Up next, we travel to where the buffalo roam.
This is one of their wallows, where they're dust bathing.
And learn how this herd is helping a Northwest tribe. And later, a performance by a Maple Valley singer who made it all the way to the finals on The Voice last season.
Welcome back to our show. Buffalo are a rare sight in our state, but on the Yakima Reservation, a herd of more than 200 are helping tribal members become more healthy. Far from the fruited plain, in marshy land on the Yakima Reservation.
Oh no, they are. There's dust right there.
Darwin Soxiai has spotted that rarest of sights in Washington state, a herd of buffalo.
This is one of their wallows, where they're dust bathing.
Darwin, biologist Christy Olney and Francis Peel actually managed the herd, which got its start in 1991. In the winter, that can mean supplemental hay feeding from the back of a pickup truck. But during the summer months, the buffalo pretty much sustain themselves.
That's one thing about them. They don't congregate and graze in one area. They always keep moving.
Unimpeded, buffalo can roam as far as 50 miles in a day. Managing a herd means building and repairing a lot of fences.
And it was a lot of hard work. And to see them out here just kind of grazing, just relaxed, it feels pretty good.
There's historical evidence the Yakima would travel east to hunt buffalo. A few years ago, the Intertribal Buffalo Council awarded the Yakima Nation 26 buffalo from Yellowstone National Park. They're bigger, wilder, and more pure.
We wanted to get them to incorporate their genetics into our herd.
The return of buffalo on tribal lands began as a way to preserve cultural and spiritual traditions. But for the Yakima, they offer another form of healing.
We've got a problem with diabetes on our reservation, and the buffalo meat is a lot leaner and healthier.
So this is where it's all kept. A walk-in freezer on the reservation is stacked with buffalo meat for sale. There's no fat on this at all, and no preservatives.
Here we don't add anything. It's just what they graze on out here.
The sales of meat pay for maintenance of the herd.
So eventually, I want to have it to where we can donate it to our people, but we're not there yet.
As I got to mingle and connect with the buffalo, they kind of come a part of my life now, where when I leave, I want to see a bigger herd with a bigger calf crop.
By nurturing the buffalo, the Yakima nurture themselves. The general public is welcome to visit the herd. The tribe just wants you to let them know you're coming in advance so they can have somebody available.
Up next, she came close to winning the last season of The Voice. Now Lucia Flores Wiseman brings her music to King 5.
Throw my mind.
Now in our 39th season, Evening shares local stories that make our community shine. Thanks to support from PEMCO Insurance. PEMCO empowers the Northwest to prevent the preventable. Learn how at PEMCO.com.
And that is going to wrap things up for us here from aboard the Sea Frolic. We're going to leave you tonight with some music from the local voice contestant, Lucia Flores Wiseman. She finished 4th this season. Here she is performing on New Day Northwest. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Guided me thinking the life I built isn't good enough, that I'm out of luck. The mountains stand I'm so tall and high. I'm afraid to climb. Oh, baby, there's you. I'll climb it with you, one step at a time.